Another day, another group of orders to ship. Hey, welcome back everybody. Thanks so much for joining me again. This video is coming to you as a direct continuation or sequel of yesterday's video in which I showcased kind of a day in the life, or rather an evening in the life of what I do as part of my online TCG resale business, Driftless Cards Games. By that I mean shipping out orders. Plain white envelopes full of cards sold on TCG Player. If you're interested in what that typical order process looks like for orders of a card or two that happen to be most of what I had to ship out, the kind of ins and outs with a lot of my commentary on how and why I did the things I did, please take a look. Pinned up above is that video that I'm referencing as part 1. This is, as I mentioned, a continuation where, as fate would have it, we received a large quantity orders today. I believe we've had something like 10 orders come through above 10 cards or something like that, and some of them were significantly high. I think we had a 50 card quantity order come through. So I spent the better part of the last hour pulling through my inventory, sourcing everything. I've got it right here on the table next to me. I'm going to reposition the camera and flip you around for this continuation, really focused now on unique and larger orders. I'm going to go ahead and tape this down and give it our return buyer stamp. Fold it up, good to go. Ready to ship. Next one is similar, just another single card, single top loader, single team bag. These labels, these sticky adhesives are just the worst with static electricity. They will stick to anything. Get this here. Go ahead and fold this up to go. Now, things start to get a little bit more interesting. We have a 4-card order here, which is basically processed the same as this 5-card order. So what we have here are 4 cards in a penny sleeve. There's plenty of enough room for them in there. I'm going to put that into a semi-rigid here, the card saver, and put that into a team bag. This is what I use as option 1 for kind of a 4 or 5 card order. It works fine. Option number 2 is, as I have shown here, with a 5-card order. I have double checked these all, by the way. These are ready to go as far as order accuracy. So I've got 1 in a top loader and the other 4 basically in nothing, just in a penny sleeve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that whole bundle into a team bag. And for those who are interested in this pro tip, I always give just the tiniest little scissor snip to the bottom corner of the team bag. Not as important if they're going in a bubble mailer or a box, but if they're going in a plain white envelope, it keeps everything just as secure, but you can see just that tiny little snip down there that really allows air to not get trapped inside the bag, because that will balloon the envelope. But as you saw, right on top of the top loader is the penny sleeve with the 4 cards in it. That top loader, when it's sealed up nice and tight here, is what's going to give the whole stack rigidity. Nothing is going to happen to Rhyhorn here. So this is good to go to get taped right down here and stamped, and we're going to move these along. Now, things start to get even more interesting. Now that we progress past the 4-5 card tier, now we're up to significantly larger orders. Anything larger than that, I kind of follow this general process. So as you can see here, we've got a large order. I've got names hidden here for non-doxing reasons, but we've got a 20-card order that I have basically divided into 3 approximately equal count packages. And each of these is just a penny sleeve, Penny sleeves can fit more than one card, especially with, I'm not talking about a perfect fit sleeve, but just the standard penny sleeves. Now, this is where the magic happens. These are 3-part, if I can get each one to open here, 3-part little dividers that TCG Player obviously sells on their website. These are their products that they endorse, and each one of these supports a bundle of cards. I have seen some sellers not use sleeves at all because they do add thickness, but in my experience it is negligible, and it keeps everything just a little bit more presentable with the sleeves. So you're going to take and you're going to put this right inside your packing slip folded in thirds. You're going to fold the top over and then the bottom. So you've got, again, I have these covered up, but you've got your label here, everything. This is going to go directly into the envelope, just like so, and it's not moving anywhere. It's actually very uniform, but this will require additional postage. When you start to get orders this large, you have to be very aware of your postage costs. So let's package this up. I will not seal this because I need to obviously take off the Post-it note. But if you can see here on my scale, tear it to 0, put my envelope on here. This is coming in at 1.8 ounces. So this Forever stamp is enough postage to mail 1 ounce. There are thickness requirements, there are envelope size requirements, but what you need are these additional ounce stamps. So in this case, because we're over 1 ounce, we're going to put on a second stamp here, and this now covers us up to 2 ounces. So if this would have weighed more than 2, we would have had to put on a third additional ounce stamp. First class mail, United States first class mail, has a weight limit of 3 ounces, so you would never need more than the 2. This will be enough. Now let's do another here. As you can see, I've got another large order that came through. In this case, 28 cards, because we have quite a few duplicates here. A lot of celebrations in this order. Celebrations bulk is always worth pulling out if you happen to have some. Get that listed. But as you can see here, I've got my cards divided into thirds. And that is relatively important that they are divided into thirds. TCG Player has a FAQ help article on how to use these. You can use it for just 1 pocket, in which case you would load up the middle pocket. If you're using 2, then obviously you would pick 2. But for 3, you really want to make sure that you've got uniform sizing there so that your envelope stays relatively uniform and machinable. We're going to get this together, and this again, we're going to go ahead and weigh it. Same thing. If it's greater than 1 ounce, then we need the 1 additional stamp. If it's greater than 2 ounces, but bear in mind, still less than 3 is the maximum, then we're going to need those 2 additional stamps. These can be purchased from the post office. Any post office should have them. If they don't have a roll, this is just a dispenser here. If they don't have a roll of them, then they should have a sheet. These are much cheaper than Forever stamps. That's why I mention using them. Forever stamp, you're talking in the ballpark of, what is it now, 78 cents. They keep changing and going up. These are only, I think they're 28 cents or something thereabouts. So significantly cheaper, even if you're using 2 to keep your shipping costs low, because yes, technically you could put, instead of an additional ounce stamp, you could put 2 Forever stamps on here. You would have paid over the amount of required postage, but it would certainly be delivered. So we've got that one packaged up now. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this next one here. We've got additional bundle, and each of these, just once again, there's no additional cardboard, there's no additional rigidity necessary. This will take care of it. I promise. If you do not have or do not want to buy those TCG Player 3-pocket carriers, there is an alternate method, which is actually something that I use, which is just a piece of kind of this semi-flexible card stock. In this case, TCG Player also sells these. This is not a sponsored video by TCG Player. I just happen to take advantage of some of their Black Friday cashback bonus by buying my shipping supplies and getting some cash back on them. So what I do in this case, this is only an order of 11 cards. So it's not unreasonable, and that was my first determination, but also it's a fairly low dollar value order. We're shipping out here basic energies from the Trading Card Game Classic, which do look pretty cool. They're holographic if you've never seen them before. Everything in the Trading Card Game Classic is holographic. But what I do with these is I basically just kind of create my own version of that 3-pocket. But the additional step here is that I do put these in team bags because there is no protective top, and you'll see why that's an important distinction in just a moment here. So let me get these packaged up, and basically what you're going to want to do, if you haven't already guessed, is you're going to want to basically tessellate these 3 just like you were using that 3-pocket. So you want them right next to each other vertically in the envelope, and you're going to layer them. I kind of overlap the team bags a little bit, so you've got here one very flush layout, and what you're going to use then is masking tape or painter's tape, and I will go and tear kind of an appropriate amount and secure them to the board here. Now, make sure that when you do this, the cards shouldn't be overlapping, just the bags. And that helps to secure them down where you want them to be. And the main thing is that they need to stay flat. They need to stay flush. If they don't, and they end up overlapping each other, it will destroy the envelope. You will have a stack of 20 whatever cards that will become non-machinable, non-deliverable. So like I said, I just tear 2 pieces that you can use masking tape, you can use painter's tape. I would not recommend packaging tape. It will be difficult for the buyer to remove, or Scotch tape isn't really going to be wide enough and flexible enough to do this well. But something like this is more than sufficient for what we need to get them to go. So we're going to do the same thing, fold, fold, fold. And we're going to put it in an envelope. We're going to weigh it. In this case, I know that we will need 1 additional stamp. We will need 1 additional ounce to get this to go. But for some of these larger orders, we might need 2. As I said before, this again, I'll spare you the hassle of watching me tape those on around my camera here. That is the same setup. Now, this is I saved the most complicated order for last. We have our 3-pack. Already assembled here. It's full to bursting. But this is a huge order. This order, if you can tell from my writing, this is a 48 card order that I basically split into 2 different envelopes. This is envelope 1, or I'm sorry, this is envelope 2. This is envelope 1. So we're going to do the same process. We're going to divide it up into thirds. We're going to put it in our triplicate fold. We're going to slide it into our envelope here, and we're going to weigh each one. So we've got 2 envelopes now for this 1 order. It's a little bit of a creative solution, but if you add up all the costs, you've got 2 envelopes, that's a penny a piece. You've got a couple penny sleeves, that's literally a couple pennies a piece. Really, the only thing is the additional postage, of course. You're going to have 2 forever stamps, 1 per envelope. You're going to have additional ounce stamp on each envelope, maybe 2 on one, maybe 2 on both. But at the end of the day, you're still going to come out ahead of what you would have had to pay for $6, you know, in tracked shipping, plus the cost of a bubble mailer, plus the cost of, you know, the shipping supplies and everything else. Now, the real question becomes, where do you draw the line? And in this case, yes, it is only a cost savings of a couple bucks, but as you can see, these are all relatively low value cards. If these were cards that were purchased that were, you know, this one's probably one of the most expensive, $4. If there was a, you know, $8, $20, $30, if this was a large order of high value cards, then of course you're going to add tracking. You're going to want the protection. You're going to want the additional coverage, and so is your buyer. That is important. TCG Player recommends tracking for any order over $20. So if you're not comfortable with this method, then I would recommend what TCG Player recommends, and to add tracking to those orders. But no, that's going to cut into your top line revenue a little bit. You're going to get the sale, but you're going to have a lot of additional expense. It also, I would say, you know, doesn't necessarily scale quite as well depending on your risk tolerance. If you're going to be shipping out all of those with tracking, it will start to pile up those additional $2-3 per order that you're just losing versus breaking them down like this and shipping them. But if it's something where the order total is over $50, if it's $50.05, then TCG Player is going to require that you use tracking, whether it's, you know, one single high value card or multiple low value cards. Hey, thanks for helping me pack those orders up. I appreciate the company. If you're interested at all in any of our additional TCG Player content, online business content, Pokemon or other card games, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. We're growing this channel, we're starting to pick up some steam, and I would really love to continue to share some of my passion for this industry with you. I am a novice YouTuber, but I definitely have a lot of experience to contribute by way of passion for Pokemon and other TCGs and online business experience. Please let me know in the comments, drop me something below. I guarantee if you comment in the first week of this video going up, I will personally respond to you and thank you for taking the time to connect. I appreciate all of you. Hope you have a great day. Thank you.